Savannah as the sun reflects off the golden dome of Notre Dame's campus. Hello and welcome to Stinson Rugby Field for a Friday evening matchup between the host Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Trine Thunder. Both teams are in search of their first victory of the season, with the Irish off to an 0-2 start and Trine opening their season today on the road. Alongside my partner Claire DeMeo, I am Charlie Morris with you here. Claire, what do you think Notre Dame has to do to claim their first win of 2023?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to be broadcasting this season. As for Notre Dame, really just looking for an effective use of the back line in space. Again, they have a lot of experience in their forwards and even in their returning backs, but once again, just trying to find the space, utilizing that, and getting onto the outsides where they have a lot of speed. Again, just breaking the defensive line. I think it'll be well worth it for them.
All right, we'll see how they do today. It'll be Trine kicking off first, and Notre Dame will have the chance to score first as they'll get the ball to start the game as we're just about underway here on Friday night. And we're off. Beginning the game, the Irish will grab it first. Couple broken tackles, and they're down just past the 22 and a half.
Notre Dame already getting off to a physical start, trying to break the line.
And they will break the line as it's Ryan Putka progressing through. They get close to midfield. Handed off to Michael Egan, who pushes through. As some early progress for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they're seemingly moving the ball very effectively to start the game.
Again, watching them work, trying to get onto the outside and create opportunities to get into space and use the power of their wings to get through.
A juggle by Collie Erden, but he recovers, preventing a knock-on, which would have been a tough blow for the Irish after a relatively strong start. The attack has stifled a bit, but they continue to possess the ball as they look to move towards the opposite side of the field now, close to us. Picked off the ground by James Jordan with one man to beat. Defended well by Trine's Rhett Taylor, who brings him down. Powerful running by Patrick Dufour all the way into Trine territory before he's finally wrestled to the turf. As the Irish continue to move forward, it's Patrick Mulligan with it. Finally brought to the ground. Patrick Jennings with a nice fake as he pushes through. Notre Dame progressing a little bit, although it's dropped and we get a whistle.
So right there, a lot of quick pop passing, trying to push the pace. Unfortunately, just not quite getting a grasp on the ball and knocking it on, setting up this next scrum. But diligent defense by Trine, getting up and launching early.
Certainly good work, as it seemed Notre Dame at times was finding cracks in the Trine defense, but they managed to lock it down, and they'll get their first chance with the ball here after this scrum. They boot it away all the way into Notre Dame territory, where it's picked up by Connor Mulligan. He tries to spin off a hit and rolls near midfield. Now the Irish are across midfield in the person of Andrew Cansfield. Irish will head toward the left side. Strong running, only one man to beat for Patrick Mulligan, and a good tackle. Dan Seymour for the Trine Thunder with a great one-on-one tackle in open field, potentially saving 5 points. Good move by James Jordan, and he's going to take it all the way. And for the first time this season, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are on the board. They lead 5-0.
That was excellent right there. Like I said, getting onto the outside, using those wings, and getting out to the field into the try-zone. Excellent move by James Jordan, who last year, again, put up a lot of points by using his speed effectively and breaking the line that way. Excellent job there by Jordan.
And a great play, too, to be able to center that ball before he touched it to the turf, allowing for Ryan Putka to have an easier attempt for a conversion. So he gets set to try to kick it through for an extra 2. And he does. Irish leads 7-0. Just about 5.5 minutes into this one. Trine getting set to kick. It's Dan Seymour who had a great tackle on the first possession for Notre Dame, and he'll boot it away. And Notre Dame will look to extend their lead even further. Off to a significantly better start than their last 2 games. Obviously crucial to get on the board first, especially in search of their first win. Patrick Dufour brought down. And a drop for the Irish, but a recovery. And the ball now in the hands of Tom Curran for Notre Dame. Looks like he's going to kick it away, and he does. Right into the chest of the Trine player. One hand flip back as the Thunder will look for their first successful possession of this game.
Notre Dame defense trying to hold them up. Not quite successful there.
Try and move across halfway across the field. As they start moving towards their right side. And a kick. Will they be able to recover? No, it'll be Notre Dame, but we get a stoppage.
Just about 7 minutes in, and the Irish are up 7-0, if you're just joining us.
It was James Jordan with the first score of the season for Notre Dame, a run down the left side.
So Trine will restart play, try to kick for ground.
And that kick will go into touch. Notre Dame ball. Trine with possession off the line out. Oh, a big broken tackle there. As they are further into Notre Dame territory than they have been yet this game. Seymour with a pitch and a loss of ground. Well defended by the Irish. Knock on called.
Knock on by Trine.
Trine with the right idea, trying to swing down the other side of the field, but unfortunately just knocked it on.
Way back on their own goal line.
The Thunder will opt for a line out deep in Notre Dame's territory, looking to get on the board to start their season off strong. And they do control. Both teams pushing away.
Looks like the advantage is being played.
They are all the way inside the 5. Perhaps even further. So near the try line, no signal yet from the official. And a try.
Trine is in for the try after a physical effort right down to the 5 off of unfortunate penalty by Notre Dame. Again, using that field position that they gained to their advantage, and they have a chance just now to tie up the game at 7 with the kick. It's going to be a bit of a tougher angle than the Irish had. But again, great physical effort there by the Trine forwards to get in.
Certainly, Clara. Strong push. Seemingly right after the line out, Trine was just determined to get that ball into the try zone, and they did manage to after a strong effort, and a physical effort at that, as you mentioned. It'll be Dan Seymour on the kick. Which is good. A great effort by Seymour to get that through, and this game is tied at 7 apiece with 29 minutes remaining in the first half.
And off that slightly awkward angle, it was an excellent kick right there by Trine, getting the tie. Shaping up to be a close one early in this game.
And both teams managing to punch their first tries across. Sigh of relief for Notre Dame for sure, and for Trine, a good way to start their season, not falling down 2 possessions right away.
Irish kick deep to the Thunder.
Seymour bounces off a hit before he's brought down. Patrick Jennings in the mix for Notre Dame on that tackle.
And a physical run right there by Trine, stiff-arming and spinning out of a tackle, finally brought down.
That looked to be Wayne Ager, number 3 for Trine. First time he's had the ball today, and a successful run at that.
Trine showing the physicality of those forwards, pushing through the defensive line in the middle.
Strong tackle from Andrew Cansfield for Notre Dame. Trying to retain possession. It'll be Seymour kicking it for ground. Takes a Trine bounce, but then a Notre Dame bounce and ends up into touch.
Yeah, right idea there, almost getting through and catching, receiving that kick once again, but unfortunately just taking a bounce in the wrong direction and into touch. But looks like it'll be called back anyway for the penalty. So Trine gets another opportunity off that to try and recover and gain some more ground.
Play resumes. It's Ager with the ball once again. Couple quick passes from the Thunder. Spin by Rhett Taylor to get across. Another one to get across midfield before he places it down. Picked up by Brian Tittman, the vice captain for the Thunder. And a pick. It's intercepted. Patrick Dufour. And he's in. What a play. And the Irish retake the lead.
And that was some diligent launching right there. Getting up early on the ball and managing to intercept it. A risky play, but if you have the confidence to do it, absolutely go for it, and it paid off well for the Irish. It is now 12-7 with 25 minutes left. And the Irish with the opportunity to go up by another 2 points.
Ryan Putka, water bottle in one hand, ball in the other as he gets ready to boot it through for 2. What a great play by Patrick Dufour to read that throw from the Thunder, take it, and untouched all the way for the try.
Absolutely. Good awareness right there on the defensive side, putting themselves up once more. And this one slightly left, so the score remains 12-7. Notre Dame set up to receive the kick.
For Trine, it looked like they were generating something offensively, attacking their right side, the left side of Notre Dame's defense with their right side of the offense. But that interception by Dufour just instantly changes all that. And now not only does Notre Dame have the lead, but they get the ball right back. Short kick, fielded instantly by Tom Curran before he's brought down. Kicked out of bounds, into touch by Ryan Putka.
It will be a Trine line out.
.23 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the first half. It's Trine with possession of the ball inside their own half the field. They trail Notre Dame 12-7 on a Friday evening in South Bend. Ager pushes forward for a few extra yards.
And it looks like a penalty right there, so they will kick this one into touch, or at least attempt to.
Irish kick deep.
Tom Curran's kick.
And it's out within the 5, or just at the 5, excuse me.
On the 5-meter line. Notre Dame knocking at the door once again.
Michael Egan with the ball for Notre Dame as he looks like he'll throw it in. Golden opportunity here for the Irish.
Absolutely. You see the back line starting to spread out and get deeper into the field as they receive that line out.
Erden catches the lineup. Collie Erden wearing number 4 today. And it looks like they're in. It's a try for the Irish.
Score 17-7 Irish.
So with that Notre Dame try off that line out, brings the score to 17-7. Just about 21 minutes left in this first half.
Notre Dame very efficient on offense right now. 3 tries in just under 20 minutes of game action. When they've had the ball, they've done well with it. They've been able to break through the Trine defensive line, and they've been able to punch it in for 3 tries and still lots of time remaining.
Absolutely. And once again, the Irish just, it's been a little lopsided on possession. They've controlled most of it for the game, so it's good to see them converting that into points.
Tough conversion just
Clock is stopped with
That's tense.
20 minutes and 36 seconds left in the first half. Notre Dame with a 17-7 lead.
Trine supporters, you are also welcome to purchase Notre Dame rugby merchandise.
Start your collection now.
Both teams in their huddles, getting a short break before we return to action. This gives me a moment, Claire, to ask you. You mentioned before the game how you thought Notre Dame needed to be better, right, in almost all aspects. What have you seen so far that has been better?
Absolutely. I think that they are using their space a lot more effectively. We saw it a lot last season with especially, getting close to, the try line as they enclose and get closer into their own territory. They start kind of closing in towards the middle, which is fine. But again, just using the backs, they have a lot of speed on the outside. So if you can get it out to them successfully, they can run right past you. Defensively, again, getting diligent and just looking for that launch. Again, we saw that with the interception earlier, having the awareness to look up at the ball and try and target it to run that back.
It's a great point. That interception and score from Patrick Dufour has really been the turning point in this game. It was a tie game when that happened, and Trine had the ball, and they were making some progress offensively, but just a real change of pace.
Ball kicks straight out. We're going to come back to the Notre Dame half. There'll be a line out for Trine just beyond the 22-meter line.
After a Fighting Irish kick into touch, it will be Trine's ball on the line out. Deep in Notre Dame's territory, desperately needing the next score in this game to pull within a one-score game.
They get that line out back to their forwards.
Tough battle for the ball, but Notre Dame
Ball's up for grabs.
looks like Notre Dame knocked on the ball.
So a knock on by the Irish will set up another scrum for Trine. Once again, regaining possession. And it's good to see the Notre Dame defense energized. So just got to be a little more disciplined on going for the ball. Again, it's a risky move right there. We saw it pay off earlier. But again, just to clean up those little mistakes, just got to be a little bit more aware of where the ball is.
It's a good point, because although we did see that play from Dufour, we also saw some occasional close calls from the Irish, and their defenders are being pulled out of position by attempting to go for those interceptions. It's the Thunder continued to progress on offense, but a whistle,
Close call with the ball knocked on.
a knock-on called against Trine, and
Notre Dame
Notre Dame will go for the scrum as they take possession back. Missed opportunity for the Thunder.
press box assistant Alex Adams has counted 135 supporters of rugby tonight, including women and children. Thank you all for coming. Please enjoy the rest of the match.
It was just announced, the crowd on hand tonight, a solid 135. Pretty good showing for a Friday night at Stinson Rugby Field. Of course, the Fighting Irish with their home opener in football tomorrow, attracting some extra spectators to this spectacle tonight. But also a good amount of Trine fans in attendance who were very loud when Trine punched in their first try but have since quieted. Curran throws it into the scrum. Not cleanly executed by Notre Dame, and it looks like they'll try it again.
Scrappy slum. We're going to try this again.
Yeah, it's tough right there if there's a mismatch with the forwards.
Go to the press box to get a redo on our national anthem.
Kern will get a second chance as the teams both get ready. Ball's down.
And it
And
looks like Trine's coming out with it.
they do. And they quickly switch fields to the left side.
Excellent ruck there.
Trine with the ball back. Seymour kicks it away. It's a high kick. James Jordan collects, and he's instantly brought down.
Great catch, great tackle.
Notre Dame's got the ball back,
Notre Dame tries to kick it deep.
and they will kick it right back away.
Ball knocked on by Trine.
Unable to be corralled by Dan Seymour, who looks up in anger and disgust, perhaps, as it will be Notre Dame ball. (17-7) Irish with 15.5 to go. They've got a scrum, so Kern will get another chance, this time hoping to get it back to his own team, as Trine did a great job on the last two scrums that were in Notre Dame territory. So now a better offensive chance for the Irish if they can gain possession out of this scrum.
Absolutely, and we've seen a lot of physicality from the Trine forwards. Again, just pushing and twisting that scrum around. Looks like Trine will get this one again. Another scrum violation by the Irish, and they're back 10.
Trine really showing off their physicality on those scrums. That's 3 in a row. One that had to be retried, and 2 that ended up in turnovers, as Trine continues to wreak havoc on the Irish, even when the Irish have possession in those scrum opportunities. Erden with a tackle for the Irish. Thunder got the ball back. So they get close to midfield. They try the left side, but that does not work. So they lose some meters.
And looks like Notre Dame will be called for diving over. So once again, back 10 for the Irish. These little penalties, driving them backwards, giving Trine a little bit of help in terms of field position.
It will be their line out right around the 10-meter in the Irish half.
So Trine will go for a line out inside Notre Dame territory. As you mentioned, Notre Dame a little bit undisciplined right now. They're playing a little bit too aggressive, it seems, on defense. They've had some knock-ons trying to go for the ball. They had that diving into the ruck penalty. So they've done a good job limiting Trine to only one try, but also some mistakes in there that are going to have to be cleaned up if they look to beat some of these better teams that they're going to play throughout the season.
A switch play by Trine, trying to move directions instead of use their back line. Looks like a lot of their power thus far in the match have come from these forwards.
Out of all that, though, it's Notre Dame with the ball back. They start moving towards us on their left side of the offense. Quick passing, leading to a rush for Patrick Jennings, who's eventually brought down, but not until he's deep inside to Trine territory.
And once again, unfortunately, just knocked on. So scrum down to Trine right here.
Number 10, Ryan Putka, proves to all he's tougher than you. Shaking off that hit.
So the Trine scrum, let's see if Notre Dame can potentially give the Thunder a taste of their own medicine, try to win this scrum.
Trine scrum looking very organized. Get the ball out to the backs.
Oh, a huge hit.
Hit by number 10. What
Ryan
about that?
Putka with a hit on his fellow number 10, Dan Seymour. Seymour had just released it, though, and that allows Trine to move into Notre Dame territory. It's in the hands of Brian Tippmann. No longer, though.
Yeah, unfortunately just knocked on once again. Very physical tackle by the Notre Dame defense, setting up their own scrum. And so far, Trine has been very dominant in these scrums. So let's see what they can do to get the ball back.
If you're Notre Dame, how do you have to approach this scrum, Claire, to try to get this ball and get possession? Because it's been a noticeable issue in the first, 28 minutes or so of this first half has been their inability to win the ball off their own scrums.
Yeah, no, it's very difficult, especially, when there's a mismatch, even, physically. Trine has a lot of very big forwards, very capable forwards. And so, again, in a scrum, you're looking for a lot of balance, and we're just not seeing that right now. Again, tight bind and a big push could really help them out.
As you've spoken into existence. Oh, what a pass! James Jordan still going, and now he's finally tackled.
By the Thunder defense.
But they will
What a good
call
pass
that
from
back
John
for a
Barnes.
high tackle again. In that desperation, you have to get low.
Before that, we have a high tackle penalty on Trine.
So this will come back in favor of Notre Dame, even though he was pushed out into touch. And now they will kick out.
Kicked beautifully into touch by number 10, Ryan Putka.
Putka's kick into touch will set Notre Dame up
Irish line out
about 10 meters
10 meters from their goal line.
from another try. That was John Barnes on that great pass, just looping it over the Trine defender right into the hands of James Jordan, who had a rush chance. That's allowed Notre Dame to be knocking on the door once again. New ball into play.
Great hustle by
Michael Egan
Michael Egan. Get that ball down for the truck.
will be throwing it in. Says the similar makings of Trine's first try, where they had a throw in or a line out deep in the opponent's territory and were able to punch it in. Let's see if Notre Dame can do the same.
Unfortunately, another knock on right there. Couldn't quite get a grasp on the overthrow after the ball was tossed in. And so, a lot of scrums right here in these last 10 minutes for sure.
And you know that with the advantage Trine has in the scrum, every time they have the option, they're going to opt for that scrum, and as they do right here.
Absolutely, they're playing to their strengths and it's showing.
Notre Dame continuing to be resilient on defense, though. Still only 7 points allowed, and really no great chances for Trine other than the one that they did manage to punch into the try zone. A steal and a try. It's John Barnes, once the playmaker, now the scorer, and Notre Dame is up to 22-7 with 8.5 to
Absolutely.
go.
Interesting decision right there to take the weak side, but again, with that speed, there's another mismatch that happens. So, again, taking advantage of that and opening up the space for the score. It's working out pretty well for the Irish using their speed, whereas we've seen a lot of, physicality in the Trine forwards. The Irish backs really opening up the space now.
It's a great point. It's been noticeable how fast the Irish have been. We think back to that play by Patrick Dufour to intercept and score, and we think to that play right there, just that speed that Trine seemingly can't keep up with, and that's allowed Notre Dame to go up 22-7, and now 24-7. No? That looked like it went in from this angle, but it's called no good.
Yeah, so their score remains 22-7 with about 7.5 minutes to go.
Notre Dame's offense looking really strong. We mentioned that speed, but also their defense. Although they've been outmatched physically, they've certainly held their own, and they've held Trine to just 7 points, and they'll get another chance on offense to try to continue to extend this lead.
Ready to go, and the well-oiled machine that you see on the field today. Everybody give a round of applause for our team managers.
This kick goes pretty high.
Notre Dame collects. As Mulligan's still on his feet before he's finally brought to the ground. Throw was mishandled, but picked up by the Irish. It's Putka who's brought to the ground on a good tackle by Egan. Or Ager, excuse me.
Big tackle. Looks like ref signaled a high tackle. Irish playing advantage.
Notre Dame playing on advantage right now. After that high tackle went uncalled, as Patrick Dufour, the interception already in this game, slow to get to his feet.
Ref calls it back.
Now they will call that one back. Notre Dame with another opportunity to kick into touch, gain some ground. But yeah, our second high tackle of the game. This kick goes very far.
A line drive from Putka.
But even when Notre Dame's pushing the pace, it becomes especially important to get low on those tackles to avoid the high tackle. Not only can that get dangerous, but again, it'll be called every time.
One-handed snag for Mulligan.
Patrick Mulligan. Just gotta stick him on those hands.
Putka kicks it
And what a
towards a
kick.
vacant corner,
Just bounces out of
and it will bounce into the try zone before going into touch.
it.
4 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the first half. Irish lead Trine 22-7.
Referee signals for a
They've scored
line dropout kick.
15 unanswered points on 3 tries. The latest of which from John Barnes. Trine lining up all 15 on their own try line. It's kicked into touch.
Number 10 kicks it into touch. We've got a scrum on the 5 meters because the kick went directly out. These are the rules that only the referee knows.
A scrum set to take place at about the 5-meter line. The Thunder in desperate need of a score soon, as their deficit has increased to 15, so therefore making it a 3-score game. Hard to do in one half. It would be huge for them if they could manage to shrink the deficit in the last 3 minutes, although it could end up growing as Notre Dame's reclaimed possession. Right near the try line. Are they in? Not quite.
Pushing towards the try zone.
And now they're in. And that's another try for the Irish as their lead grows to 20. A 27 spot in the first half for Notre Dame.
There we go, another physical run by the Irish, getting through a host of traffic right there through the center. And again, Trine starting to be a little bit worn down now on defense. Again, putting up a pretty good effort, but Notre Dame just going right through for the score.
It's a great point. I was just thinking about how all this possession that Notre Dame has had, it feels like they've had the ball almost the entire game to this point, and that's certainly taking a toll on that Trine defense. And you could see it right there as Notre Dame was able to just kind of bully and bulldoze their way into the try zone for the 5 points.
Absolutely, and it's difficult, especially when the possession doesn't change off the kick. Again, Trine really having to put in the extra effort to not only stop the Notre Dame attack, which is quick, they're really going for it with the speed, but again, getting out and getting the ball back.
Looking great, guys. Oh, never mind. They're from Keeneland Hall. Go Irish.
Putka's conversion is good, his first successful since the first score, so got on him for making the adjustment, and so it's now 29-7 Notre Dame as the clock continues to tick down in the first half. Great first half for Notre Dame, definitely a bounce-back effort after their last 2 contests. They'll look to keep it going in the second half. Yeah, little known as Notre Dame was very successful against Navy on the football field in Dublin, less successful on the rugby pitch.
Yep.
Beautiful skills by Ryan Putka.
He runs right into traffic right there.
Yeah, Putka absorbed a huge hit there to help gain some ground. A couple more broken tackles here. And a flip into the hands of Matt Scariano. 1 man to beat. Does he have the angle? He's caught from behind. Tackled by Taylor.
Finally brought down by the 5-meter.
Notre Dame once again inside the 5.
Pick and go by Patrick Murphy.
About 2 meters away.
Closer.
7 seconds in the half. Knock on not called.
And looks like an advantage being played for the offside by Trine.
For a third, but it's just
Oh,
A
and
drop.
dropped it. Can he ground it? No, Trine comes up with the ball in the try zone.
Canteras backfires. The Irish will have to
Multiple players on Trine doubled over in exhaustion. One even laying on the pitch. As it seems they've just avoided disasters in the final seconds of this half.
Time has expired here for the half. It's 29-7 to the Irish. Let's see if they'll play it out.
Notre Dame playing off of a penalty. 5 meters away, Trine backed up on the goal line.
Half not quite over as Notre Dame had been playing on advantage, so he'll
Tap and go
take
for the
over the
corner.
ball once again. It's pushed towards the try zone and in.
Number 4, Collie.
Collie Erden punches it through on a great effort, and Notre Dame strikes one more time in the first half. 34-7, and a chance to make it 36.
34-7.
So right there off that tap and go, again, passing it out just 1-2 times, finding that gap and going right through. Excellent job right there by the Notre Dame forwards. And also setting up pretty good conversion attempt. Not quite straight on, but very close.
Definitely one that Ryan Putka will tell you he thinks he should make, and we'll see if he can come through with his 3rd conversion of the day. Takes a deep breath and hammers it through. So Notre Dame will take a 29-point lead into the second half as they go up on the Trine Thunder 36-7. We'll be back in 5 minutes for the second half of this game here at Stinson Rugby Field in Notre Dame, Indiana. Welcome back to the second half of our rugby match today between the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Trine Thunder. It was Notre Dame who struck first and then scored 22 unanswered points to go up 36-7 on the Thunder as we get set to start the last 40 minutes of the game. Claire, what did you see in that first half that you think the viewers should know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been the story of forward physicality by Trine versus the speed of the Notre Dame backs. Trine has been very good in the middle, again, using their forwards to really work their way up the field, but unfortunately just haven't quite been able to finish thus far. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, on the other hand, again, a little bit of struggling in their scrums, but it's really been made up by the fact that their backs have been absolutely on fire. They have been spreading the field very well, using the space and their speed to their advantage. So hopefully a few adjustments here and there on both teams to try and repair those mismatches as best as possible. So we will be set for another half of what has been a very exciting rugby match thus far.
It's his first game in the back line, so watch out, Trine.
Just about underway. It will be the Thunder who will receive first as they will look to strike quickly, get themselves right back in the game. Kick to central in the field. And a broken tackle, and another broken tackle. Strong run by this Thunder player across midfield.
Oh,
And it goes out of into touch.
yeah, just couldn't quite get his hands on the pass to the outside, but absolutely the right idea. And had he caught that, I think he would have been gone. But excellent run right there by Trine, breaking multiple tackles, finding the open space, and trying to flip it out to his teammate. Not quite successful, but again, right idea.
Could be an instance of those first game wrinkles that Trine is still kind of dealing with. You know, this is Notre Dame's third game of the season, so they've had those opportunities to shake the rust off a little bit, whereas for the Thunder, this is their first game action since last season, so that could be an example of perhaps some just some rust, you know, they're just not ready yet, right? It's just the first game, so they're trying to get coordinated with themselves, and that was kind of an example of
Yeah,
miscoordination.
they're doing the right things. They're getting really good looks. It's just a matter of finishing the job, finding the try zone in any way possible, finding the gaps to try and get there. But again, defensively, you know, this match, the first half in particular, has been very dominated by the Irish attack. So again, just a lot of opportunities right there to get some stops, get the ball back, and, you know, get some points on the board.
Some new faces out there for Notre Dame. Colin Cunning with the ball as he hands it off in the ruck. It's a familiar face, Patrick Mulligan, getting taken down. He's still in after a strong first half. Kicked away by Notre Dame. And Notre Dame continues with possession. Kicked ahead by Cansfield. And we get a whistle and a stoppage. We have an injured Thunder player on the field. I'm not sure if anyone is aware. We might have two injured Thunder players now. One by midfield and one closer to the Notre Dame try zone. Action continues, though.
Indeed, it does.
It's
Very
Tom Dickin.
physical run right there. Notre Dame just being called right now for not rolling away. They will be sent back 10.
Tom Dickin being helped off the field at the moment for the Thunder. And Brian Tippman, the vice captain, that would be a tough blow. He's also down at midfield, still on his back. Didn't see what happened, but of course in a physical game like rugby, it could be a multitude of things. And, you know, he's finally now to his feet. Looks like he's going to try to stay in. Seymour with the ball. Passes it off, and the Thunder continue their attack. This is as close as they've been to Notre Dame's try-zone since really their first score of the game. They're looking to punch in another one, bring it back to slightly more competitive with still lots of time remaining in this match.
Absolutely. And you're seeing all sorts of changes in direction, trying to find room on the outside. Notre Dame spreading their defense pretty well in this match so far.
You can see the Thunder giving it to Dan Seymour seemingly as much as they can, as it appears that most of their offense today is kind of running through him, as there's a fake to him, as the Thunder will try the other side. A lot of rucks in these last few minutes. Seymour will kick it forward into a soft area, but it's picked up.
And a third high tackle of the match by this one against Notre Dame.
High tackle on the Irish.
Right, we've seen a lot of those today. It's a very physical game. It's a very competitive game, and so we're seeing some of those penalties like the high tackle. Just that's just how the game has been played today, and you know, you'd think that Trine would enjoy that physicality, considering that's where they seem to have their strength. But Notre Dame has done a really good job holding their own, and that's allowed them to build this lead.
Absolutely. Another thing I'm noticing as they close into the try-zone, even within the 22, again, just getting a little more frantic and not exactly spreading out as much. A lot of panic passing and little pop passes that could unfortunately lead to turnovers like we just saw. Notre Dame seemed to knock it on just now.
Speaking of panic passing, that appears to be that Trine is playing on advantage right now, deep inside Notre Dame territory.
This is a good look for them, as if they can swing it out and use those wings.
Notre Dame defense stands strong.
They may not even need to, as they continue to try to push it forward. And now we get a whistle.
And another knock on.
Thunder, but we'll come back for Trine's advantage.
Trine's advantage is over. They will now get the ball back once again at about the 5 meter. This would be a strong defensive hold by Notre Dame. They've already stopped him once and forced Trine to stop playing on their advantage. And so if they can manage to do that again, this would be a huge start for their defense in this second half. It would go a long way in towards sealing this game. Not Trine, a lot of time left, 34 minutes, but Trine down a bunch, and they need this if they want any chance in this game.
Another dummy pass.
We've seen that a lot from Trine as they are getting creative, trying to score, and they will.
Big run by the Thunder results in their second
Right
try of
in
the
between the two legs of the goalpost, and Trine is on the board in the second half.
It's now 12 to 36.
Absolutely. And again, using those forwards to their advantage. That is the strong point of their team right now. And so use that to their advantage like they just did. And it's paid off.
Conversion is successful, and that pushes Trine's score to 14. A very strong possession for them. You could feel the desperation that they had in that possession. They managed to get it across for a try, and they'll get the ball back, and with a chance to score again. And you know, if they get a quick try here within the next 5 minutes or so, they're right back in this game with still lots of time remaining. Just under 33 minutes left in the second half.
Absolutely. Could this be the spark that they need to get the momentum back on their side? Again, facing a little bit of a deficit here at Stinson. They're getting a lot of good looks. Again, just cleaning up the little things and getting right into the try zone.
Could be the first adversity that we've seen in this game for Notre Dame, so this will be a big defensive possession for them as well. As big as it is for Trine on offense, it's also an equally big defensive possession for Notre Dame as they try to, you know, not let this lead grow any smaller.
Notre Dame jumping back onside right there.
Alert play to do so. Trying patiently, trying to find holes in the defense. And a steal out of nowhere, and Notre Dame has got the ball back. Brendan Stein is brought down. Erden running through, he's got a lane, and he's in for the try. What a response for Notre Dame, and they're back on top. 41-14 now.
And that was an excellent play right there, finding the gap, doing a little shift. Good footwork right there by Erden, and going right through in between the goalposts. Excellent job, and setting up hopefully what's an easier conversion.
It will be Patrick Jennings looking like he's going to kick for Notre Dame. We saw it when Trine scored. Their conversion went by so quick, you almost missed it as they were in a rush to get that ball back to midfield. But much more deliberate try attempt for Notre Dame as they try to wind this clock down with just over half an hour remaining in the match. And this could be a big 2 points here for Notre Dame. They've had slightly less luck on the tries than they probably are hoping for. But that one is booted through by Jennings, and Notre Dame's lead now grows back to 29.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing for Trine, again, getting good looks, not quite being able to finish it all the way through. Again, just these little mistakes. Ball protection is becoming a common theme here. And again, just looking up, finding the pass, or even just taking it down into contact. But again, just protecting the ball and avoiding these little turnovers will serve them a lot of good. That one barely going 10, and they'll play the advantage. Well, now it's called back for the knock-on. So another scrum to Trine this time.
There was a very short but effective kick for the Thunder, who went off the hands of Kirk Atkinson in the game for Notre Dame. And that allows Trine to take over with possession. A huge chance for them to put some more points on the board in their season opener. Successful scrum, and here come the Thunder. Well defended by Brendan Stein for Notre Dame. Out of the ruck, Thunder will take over possession. And some good ground gained. In the hands of Ager, who's had an effective day today. But now it's in the hands of the Fighting Irish. Danny Mendler with the takeaway. He flips it back. Strong hit from the Trine defender, although Notre Dame continues possession. They kick it away in the direction of Rex Chapman-Shadick. But a bounce allows the Notre Dame to continue to possess the ball as they're close to midfield. Nash brought down after a couple meters gained. The Irish continuing to move towards the left side of their offense, trying to change the field and break through on the left side. They've got advantage now. They may not need it though. A great pass, enter lane, down the sideline. Notre Dame scores again. James Jordan, another try.
Jordan again showing his speed on the outside. He plays the position extremely well. Again, looking for that one more pass from his center and just darting right through. There's no catching him when he breaks loose. So excellent play right there by the Irish. Again, getting it out onto the edge and letting that speed carry them all the way to the try zone.
We've seen Jordan flash that speed a couple times today, and that was probably the best example taking that pass and just no one catching him down the left side.
Absolutely. It's very hard to catch him once he's going. We saw a lot of that towards the end of last season. So once again, I think that's something that is definitely one to look out for as we progress through this season as well.
Jennings once again taking his time on the conversion attempt. Takes 2 large steps back, 1 large step sideways. Lines it up with 26.5 to go in the second half. And now he'll kick it through, and that will push Notre Dame's score to an even 50 as they jump in front 50-14 on the Thunder in what's been a really good show of all-around rugby for them today, as they're just 26 minutes away, barring a miracle, from their first win of the season.
So they try to set up once more. Trine facing a even larger deficit now as the clock winds down to just under 26 minutes.
We'll see if they can get another possession, though, off a kickoff like they did last time. Seems that that soft area of the field is there again, and Seymour's going to target it, and it may work. We get a whistle and a knock-on called. So it looks like Notre Dame will take over possession. It was another good kick by Dan Seymour, who's been all over the field today for the Trine Thunder. It looked like it was up for grabs, but it'll be Notre Dame who ends up with possession on the scrum, though, which Trine has had success with on both sides. They'll see if they can do it again, or if Notre Dame can take possession and put this one to bed. The Irish do come up with it. Space for Jordan, who flips it back a long way. Cunning's spun down. Not before he's close to midfield. Stein gets even closer. And it'll be Jennings who carries it across, breaks a tackle. One more to beat, and he's brought down.
Tries to look for the pass right there, a little too far out.
That was Captain Hayden Smith on the tackle for Trine, saving a try. Cutback move. And Kantaris, and he's in for the try.
And another great move right there, switching directions and spinning around to the middle. Excellent effort right there by the Irish as they are just storming back after that Trine score early in the half.
Marcos Kantaris, a strong run. And that latest try will bring Notre Dame's score all the way up to 55. And with a successful conversion to 57-14, a really strong bounce back after a tough start to the season. The way they've been able to respond today has really meant something, and I'm sure this will be something that the coaches will and the players in the locker room will be very proud of, is how strong they've played today and how well their offense and their defense have clicked.
Absolutely. I feel like the pieces are starting to come together again. Struggled a lot in the first 2 games, but this is something to definitely, celebrate, and should be a confidence boost going into the rest of the season as well.
Certainly. For Notre Dame, they needed this win today. It's not over yet, but it's certainly looking good. They're going to need the next one too. They start a streak, start building upwards, start trending upwards, and go from there the rest of the season.
Conversion successful.
The conversion unsuccessful And that will keep the score at 55-14 for Notre Dame, with about 22 minutes to go in the second half. Seymour's kick does not make it 10 meters. Picked up early and anxiously by the Thunder, and so Notre Dame will get a free possession of the ball.
Tell that band to hold it down over there. We're trying to play rugby.
So another scrum down at midfield for the Irish. You saw it a lot in the first half. Trine, even when it wasn't necessarily their scrum, making very physical push as they start twisting around, but the Irish get it out in time. Start taking it up on the weak side.
Strong running from Patty Round.
Oh, they posted. Oh, man, was that a counter ruck?
And after all that confusion, it will be Trine with the ball. Flipped back. It's Trine seemingly out of sorts here. Will they be able to figure it out? And it seems that they will, but not at no compensation, as they are nearly inside their own try zone. But we get a whistle and a penalty on Notre Dame. 20 minutes to go in the second half.
So it looks like Notre Dame will try and power this one through, and they do.
Strong run from Collie Erden. He's in for another Notre Dame try.
Notre Dame did not miss a beat there, right off the tap and go. Straight through, diving into the try zone. They go up 60-14 with just under 20.
Certainly been a strong effort. You can see the fatigue, the wear and tear on the Trine defense, and perhaps some emotional fatigue too. It seems they're not quite giving up, but it's certainly been a tough second half for them. Even after that first try that they got on offense, it's been easy going for the Notre Dame offense, and you can kind of see the Trine spirit starting to dwindle slightly. And the conversion is good. Nice kick from Patrick Jennings, and that pushes Notre Dame's score up to 62. Trine still at 14.
So once again, Trine facing an uphill battle, down a lot more this time around. Again, they're getting good looks, but it's just the little mistakes that are setting them back a bit. They have a lot going for them, especially with their forwards. Haven't quite seen the backs a lot in this game, so if we can make the connection between the forwards and start to use the speed on the outside, they can maybe create some more looks and opportunities to get on the board.
Yeah, finding different ways to score for Trine would go a long way. We've seen Notre Dame find different ways to score. They've powered it through the middle sometimes, but they've sometimes used their speed on the flanks. And that's caused Trine problems on defense. We've seen them struggle to get stops as the game has gone along, and whereas Notre Dame has been able to kind of identify Trine's forte and put in extra manpower and extra effort to stop it, and that's why the score is the way it is. It's not for a lack of effort from Trine. It's just a lack of deception on offense. They're kind of just a one-style team, and it's allowed Notre Dame to figure it out and get some huge stops on defense and turn that into 62 points on offense.
Again, making those adjustments have been super important coming out of the second half. Excuse me, the first half.
Trine will once again kick it away. 16:46 left in the second half. Notre Dame up 62-14 on the Trine Thunder. It's Trine's season opener. Notre Dame's third game of the young 2023-2024 season.
And
A further
knock
kick.
on right there by the Irish.
A much different kick from Seymour seemingly caught Notre Dame off guard way past the 10-meter line that time and causing the knock on, and so Trine will get the ball.
So now we're doing
Tough drop for the Thunder, as it seemed that Joey Sheets might be able to break through there. But the ball ricocheted away, and so Notre Dame will end up with possession.
Looks like they also got called for diving over. So once again, just an unfortunate mistake for the Thunder.
High kick. Lands out of touch. Notre Dame's line out will occur about 13 or 14 meters from midfield, give or take. Throwing it in is Danny Mendler, who's had a strong second half. He replaces Michael Egan, who did much of the lineouts during the first half. Successful lineout, and Notre Dame swings it left for a run up the middle from Patty Rowan. That leads to another run for Notre Dame. They get close to midfield. They're inside the circle with their logo on it. Here at Stinson Rugby Field, home field advantage for Notre Dame today. Certainly playing a factor as they've dominated on this home turf. Trying with some strong defense right now, however. And we get a whistle. And an injured Notre Dame player down. Back to his feet is Marcos Canteras with the most recent, not the most recent, but with a couple tries in the game for Notre Dame. He's had a strong showing today, and a great sign for them that he's able to come back. Or is Marcos Canteras down for Notre Dame, but he's back on his feet, and a big sigh of relief for that team, as he's been an integral part of their success today and should be the rest of the season. Out of the scrum, Trine with possession.
Just a little too high on that pass right there and leading to another knock on.
Looking ahead at the Notre Dame schedule for the next couple of games, they've got a road match in Wisconsin, and then they've got 3 consecutive home games against Marion University, Grand Valley State, and Ohio State University. So, big schedule coming up with a couple Big Ten teams. What do you make of what they have to do to continue the success they see today into those next couple games?
Well, again, cleaning up the little things. It looks like they've got their offense and their defense kind of clicking on both sides. Wisconsin also bringing a lot of physicality. Notre Dame having success in the past. Later down the road, though, they play Ohio State, which has always been a very physical team, as Notre Dame taking it up the field, stiff-arming a man.
It's Collie Erden with a great run. He's down deep in Trine territory. Good tackle by the Thunder to prevent disaster. And another good tackle as Notre Dame loses a lot of ground. However, most of that ground is made up for by a penalty, and so Notre Dame will get the ball back in, once again, dangerous territory. Nate Nash kicks it into touch, and so a Notre Dame line out and a great chance to put more points on the board with 11-12 to go in the second half. Claire, you mentioned Wisconsin brings that physicality to the table that Notre Dame has had success with in the past. How, like we've seen it today, where Trine has been very physical, but Notre Dame's been able to combat that with their speed and with their adjustment that they've made. Do you think that Wisconsin they'll have to do the same thing against Wisconsin, or do you think that there's even more that they have to do in that game?
I mean, obviously there's always room for improvement, but Wisconsin plays very physically. They're also very disciplined on defense. So again, just finding the gaps, finding ways to break the line, getting creative with the set plays. I think that will really come in handy for the Irish. Again, they did beat them last season, but this is a young team, especially on the back line. There are a lot of new people, but again, just finding a lot of comfort in the system, in the different types of plays that they're running. I think that will start to really help them as they become smoother and more cohesive.
Another try for the Irish, bringing their score up to 67-14. And that's a great point, Claire. We know that although it was a tough start to the season for Notre Dame, they are a young team, and they need to get acclimated to each other and to the system. So this could be a huge building block for them, this game over Trine today, and getting there and building a strong foundation for what their season could look like the rest of the way. Getting that big win is huge. Getting that first win of the season is huge because it relieves a lot of pressure. You know, you're not looking at your record going 0-0, 0-1, 0-2. You're able to see that win in the column, and that goes a long way emotionally, and you know, it helps people believe, it makes them buy in, and so when they play against other tougher Big Ten teams, they're going to have to, you know, be bought in. They're going to have to be believing if they want to win those big games, and so this is a huge stepping stone for them today.
For sure, and they should be proud of what they've put up today, especially coming off those 2 losses last week. I mean, I won't say the score on this broadcast, but it wasn't pretty, I'm not going to lie. So again, just making sure that they've got the confidence going forward, and they're looking a lot smoother on their plays even within the duration of the game, cleaning up these little things that, you know, hurt them in their first 2 matches. So excited for the rest of the season, but again, about 8 minutes here to close it out. 67-14 is the score right now.
Trine ready to kick off for the Irish.
And on the flip side, you've got the Trine Thunder, who came out with a strong showing in the first couple minutes of this game before eventually fading. They've got 3 more road games against Purdue, Aquinas, and Adrian before they finally get their home opener. How do they rebound from this and come out firing against Purdue? Before you answer that question, let's get a look at Notre Dame's John Murphy. Still going and brought down just at about the 5-meter. We'll go back to that question in a sec, as once again Notre Dame pressuring, but and now an interception. Patrick Mulligan, and it's called back as Mulligan is in disbelief.
So they got called for that offsides right there. But again, Trine showing flashes of brilliance every now and then in this game. Started off very strong, containing the Irish. But again, the Irish making adjustments, realizing what strengths that Trine brought to the game and trying to contain that right there and then. So again, it's only the season opener for Trine, and yeah, they do have to play on the road a lot, but I think that these little adjustments here and there, again, with the ball protection and trying to get out to their backs, I think bringing in that entire offense together will really serve them for the rest of this season.
Absolutely. They've been working out some kinks in this game. We've seen a little bit of sloppiness on defense, a little bit of sloppiness on offense. As we've mentioned a bunch, it is their first game, though, so lots of time to work those out. And for them, to try to have a successful rest of the season, they can definitely take away some things from this game to build off of. Their interior physicality has been great. Their offense has been solid. Even though they only have 14 points, it really feels like they've possessed the ball and moved the ball better than that. So a lot of things that they can build off of for their next game against Purdue.
Absolutely, and again, with this being Notre Dame's 3rd game of the season, they've had time to work out where the gaps were as they run this one in on the outside once again and ground it in the middle for the try.
That was John Murphy with another score. Irish go up to 72-14. It was Murphy who had that long run just a couple minutes ago, and now he punches it home. And you can see Notre Dame imposing their will on Trine at this point, as they have a chance to go up by 60 if they can knock this conversion through.
I think Trine has shown a lot today, and they'll look back on this and they'll figure out what they have to do to prepare for the coming weeks. They're going to be extremely battle tested, and I think it's going to be good for them.
Absolutely. The score is not fully indicative of this game. Notre Dame has definitely been the better team today, but Trine has held their own at many points of the game. They just seem to not have that stamina, not have everything clicking in their first game of the year. They've certainly become worn down here in the second half, and it's definitely shown by how prolific Notre Dame's offense has been. But if you're the Trine head coach, you're not all too worried about how the rest
Absolutely
of the season could
not.
go. There's definitely some positives you can take away from this game.
Oh yeah, they have a ton of talent, especially on the front lines with their forwards, just big physical forwards that, they gave Notre Dame a very hard time, especially on those scrums. So once again, just shaking off this first game and looking ahead to what they got in the future.
Trine kicks it away. Will it stay in bounds? No, it goes into touch, deep into Notre Dame territory. Pretty good kick.
3.5 minutes left to play.
As we've got 3 minutes and 43 seconds to go in the second half. Notre Dame up 74-14 here on a beautiful Friday evening in South Bend, Indiana. It's been a great showing of both offense and defense for the Fighting Irish. Seemingly everything clicking today. And that's allowed them to dominate this game and especially dominate this second half as they've just imposed their will on a worn-down Trine Thunder team. Mendler will throw it in on the line out once again. Into the hands of Egan. Back on the field. He's dropped instantly. Powerful running by Notre Dame's. They get it further up the field. And an excellent back pass and some space. But a erratic throw ends up in the hands of the Thunder. Seemingly some miscommunication between those two Irish players. It looked like they had a lane to the try zone. But a turnover, and now we have a whistle.
Another knock-on right there. So the Irish managed to get it back once again. Don't really know where that pass was going. Seemed to be in a general area instead of to a person, but, you know, I guess they can afford to do that at this point.
Certainly can. It's not something that they're going to harp on very much with how effective their offense has been. It's certainly a play that's going to get lost in the whole scheme of things. 1:45 to go in the second half as we wind down this game between Notre Dame and Trine. Nate Nash throws it off into the hands of Cunning, all the way to the far right side. Strong tackle from Rex Chapman-Shadek. And it will be Seymour. Looks like he may throw it in for the line out before handing it off. And it will be his teammate, Hayden Smith. And now he leaves it. So some confusion within the Thunder on who will be taking this. Eventually ends up in the hands of Diggs Griffin. His line out ends up in the hands of the Irish. One bounce pass. And another one. He continues swinging out left. Notre Dame called for a knock-on with under 30 seconds to play.
So the Irish hit the road. Next week they travel to Madison to take on Wisconsin. But then on the 15th of September, they will be back home against Marian University. So we will see you then.
Certainly, that will be their second home game of the year. Hoping to come into that one with an even 500 record of 2-2. Time has expired, so at the next time the ball goes into touch, this game will be official. Currently 74-14 for the Irish, as Trine will get a scrum. Kicked ahead by Seymour. Takes some bounces before it's collected by Colin Cunning. Now it's in the hands of Nate Nash, who spun
Interesting
around.
decision to keep it alive instead of kicking it into touch.
We'll see if they change that decision now, and they will, as it's kicked into touch by
And
Nate
there we
Nash,
go.
and that will do it. Notre Dame puts up a 74 spot and wins this one 74-14 over the Trine Thunder in a great showing for the Irish, and it's their first win of the 2023-2024 season.
Absolutely. Again, a lot of brilliance here in this match. Great bounce back from the last two games that they'd faced tough opponents in Navy and Trinity College. So excellent showing right here at Stinson.
We thank you for joining us today to watch this Friday evening rugby game. I would like to thank my producer, Nick Ruthroff, for his help today, and for our TV director, Sam Ohaj. Thank you for their help today. To my partner, Claire, nice job. Pleasure working with you. I'm Charlie Morris. Thank you for stopping in for all you viewers. And we hope to see you on the 15th for the Fighting Irish when they face off against Marion University. Have a great night.